Well, hi everyone. Thank you for coming tonight. We want to welcome you. The Pastel Society of Maine is having some maiden flights this year as we learn to navigate our world on the internet. And thank God for Terry Lynn, who is pretty good at it and helping us to get our feet wet. And it's what's wonderful about it is reaching more people with events, and that we seem to be drawing more attention as we do more online. I know we are all missing actual shows. We will get back to that just as soon as, as soon as we feel we can. But for now, I'm really thankful for this alternative of online presentations and shows. I want to just tell you that you're all members of Pastel Society of Maine. So thank you for your support of the society. We seem to be at a strong place right now. We have well over 100, we have about 111 or 12 members. And I don't think we've seen that number for several years. When I think when I first came to Pastel Society in, 2014, 15, it was about, but we're up now. And I think being active is probably the reason why. So I want to just thank Marika Damrell, Claudette Gamache, and Cheryl DiCara for being the main chairs for the show, this member show, our first in quite a while because we kind of shut down last year. So
how do I know if I'm mute?
Thank you, Marika. And thank you to Robert Carsten, or I shall call you Bob. And
yeah, that's fine.
Bob was our lovely jurist of selection, and all first got a piece or two in the show, and he judged for awards. We have a few awards, and he will present them, or Marika will present them, and he will read his commentary. Thank you, Terry Lynn, for assembling the show and getting it posted where we need it. Really value your work, everyone. I'm gonna let Marika introduce Bob.
Okay, I will. Well, as you know, my name is Marika. I hope my internet connection is okay. Once in a while the screen froze, so I don't know. I hope all will go well. So I'm Marika Damrell, the member show co-chair with Claudette Gamache and Cheryl DiCara. And welcome all to the opening reception of the show today. We're very happy that so many people participated, and I hope they will also join the reception. And so thank you very, very much. And of course, congratulations to the award winners. I looked at all the slides and they're beautiful. We are very honored that Robert Carsten agreed to be the juror of this show. Must have been very, very difficult for you to choose 80 paintings out of 149 entries from 63 artists. I don't know how you do that, but must have taken you quite a long time.
It took a while.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah, so we're very happy that you are here tonight. Yeah, thank you for being here and willing to say your commentaries on each painting of the award winners and a few other ones too. So after you have spoken, there will be a slideshow of all the paintings in the show, and I will mention the names and the titles, the names of the artists and the titles of the paintings, but I hope my pronunciation will be correct. If not, my excuses. So, so welcome here, and if you're ready, you can start. So welcome everybody who is attending right now.
So are you asking me to start? Is that what you're saying, Marika?
Screen froze, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Bob, do you want me to start the slideshow or
You can, sure.
do you want
Yep.
to talk? Okay.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone in the Pastel Society of Maine for doing shows like this. This is so great to see everyone's work. And you know, I think I mentioned on my criteria of judging, the first thing I do is just appreciate a show. I don't start judging it. I don't start thinking, well, you know, this piece is strong or that piece. I just take time with each piece. Knowing that some won't be in the show because that's the way shows are. But, you know, I think one of the most important things visual artists can do is enter shows and see shows. Of course, it's very important to paint. It's important to take classes. It's important to paint alongside other individuals when you can. But for me, shows are one of the top ways I have learned, and I think people do learn about painting, and also about risk taking. You know, putting an entry into a show does not guarantee one will get in or win an award. But if you don't try, you know you won't win an award, and you won't get in the show. So I just want to thank everyone for entering the exhibition, and it was hard. Marika was 100% right. I spent quite a while, continuously looking. And the system that you use, Joe Baker's, is an excellent one. I've worked with him before, a number of shows, and he has a good setup where you can isolate maybes, any rejections that you have, and any acceptances, and you can reverse those at any time. And you can isolate them and see the accepted ones and see what the show would look like. So I highly commend that particular online shows that you're using for this. I think it was excellent. So it made my job a lot easier. So, well, I think we're ready to look at art. Do you want me to say something about this? Okay.
Did you want it? I don't.
No, that's okay. Is Marika going to introduce the name, or do you want me to?
Marika.
Yeah, I'm back here. I'm sorry, my connection went somewhere.
Well, do you want me to do Marika, or are you okay now?
I hope so. I go back, so I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the picture froze. So it might be my internet connection, which is, we just have DSL here in Georgetown, so it's not perfect.
Well,
I'm happy to introduce it.
okay.
If you'd like, and pardon my pronunciations if they're wrong. This painting, this exceptional painting, is called Hello Darkness, and it's painted by Christina Davis. And this is what I had to say. It's the first prize winner. So I'm going to be reading this, and hopefully I can see. Yes, I can. This sensational skyscape, cityscape, and I did have a slash there because it's really both. So I just wanted to mention that it's a skyscape, it's a spectacular skyscape, and it's a wonderful cityscape at the same time, with a dominance. I think I talk about that in what I say. It exhibits a dynamic combination of movement, exciting contrast and color, and varied, highly expressive mark making. The composition is designed to draw the eye towards the brightest lights against strong darks around the sunset area. The painting is keyed to allow the lights to sparkle and saturated color to dazzle. This is a great and exuberant example of expressive use of the pastel medium. That's what I had to say. And congratulations, Christina. I think it's an exceptional work of art. And I did want to mention that the division of the land and the sky is, beautifully done. The movement is beautifully done. It's just like being there. I had a very strong reaction to this piece the very first time I saw it. And after viewing the works for 50 or 60 times, I still had that strong reaction. It's a very powerful work of art, and congratulations.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready to for the next. Okay.
Go on to the next, please. Trying to read this on top of my screen. It's the second prize, and it's entitled Ed's Hat by Fran Bucevich. Pardon my pronunciation there, if it's wrong. What I said about this piece is this portrait aptly captures a contemplative mood of the artist's subject, who appears to be deep in thought. Its triangular composition adds visual strength, while excellent correlations in the figure-ground relationship make this painting a winner. The warm yellow light upon the figure is echoed in the lighter areas of the background, and the color of his jacket is reiterated in the mottling in darker areas of the background. Texture diminishes in the light area around the face, which contrasts against the darkness of the forward brim and the far eye area. The upturned forward collar contrasts with strongly with the sitter's white beard and points towards his eye. Indeed, a superb work of art. I just love this portrait. I feel I know the person. It's really just remarkable. And I think the understatement of some things is as important as the clarification of things around the face. That's what I really reacted to, is the artist seems to have known exactly where to put the detail and exactly where to leave off detail. And that's not so easy to do. So congratulations, Fran.
Yay, Fran.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's familiar term for me.
This is third prize, and it goes to Carol Ast, and the title is Mile Beach Reed State Park. This vertically oriented land seascape, and again, it's land and sea, exhibits a deep sense of space and conveys a palpable gray day mood. The violet in the sky complements the yellow ochres of the sand and foreground grasses. Despite the detail and contrast of the textural elements at the bottom of the painting, the artist successfully beckons us into the vast distance, creating a center of interest in the large breaking wave. I admire the transitions in the color of the ocean. I love that color of the ocean, I really do, depicting opaque depths and translucent shallows. With dry pigment, this artist has created a scene with a breathtaking moist atmosphere and an exemplary atmospheric perspective. I think it's endless, almost, that space that you go into. It's an exceptional work of art. Thank you very much.
Yay, Carol.
Yeah.
Okay. And we move on to honorable mentions. And I did not put these honorable mentions in any special order. They're just a mention of honor. So no one is first, second, or third, as is the case with the prizes. So this one, entitled Embracing Our Differences by Polly Castor. Okay, I kept coming back to this piece over and over and over again. And it held my interest over that long period of looking at the art. And I also think, well, let me read what I said about it. This artist uses a mostly blue-orange complementary palette to bring both contrast and overall harmony to a dynamic, complex composition. I find this painting stunning in its use of shape, line, pattern, movement, repetition, and color. It's got all those things working simultaneously. I'm adding a little bit here. There are radial, contour, and straight lines. Some thicker lines accentuate edges of forms. Others teeter between line and form. There is a powerful sense of rhythm and movement as the large orange shape is embraced by its surrounding blue form. It's a painting about an idea, a concept rather than objects, and yields a meaningful message. I think it's an exemplary work of art. Thank you, Polly.
Lovely.
Okay, this is, I don't see the title. It's Moonrise, I believe. It's not showing up on my computer, but it's by Georgette Morel. And this is what I had to say about it. A small painting. I could look at sizes and titles when I wish to. I meant to mention that beforehand, but not names, which of course most shows don't allow you to look at the name, and that's good. One did that I actually had, and I found it rather annoying, but this is, so I could look at a title afterwards. I did not use the titles or sizes for quite a while until later in the jurying and judging. But I found out that this is a relatively small work of art. And thus I said, a small painting with a big impact. This is an example of how powerful suggestive qualities of form can be. It's rather like poetry versus prose. This painting, as all well done tonalist works, is more about mood, about the artist's feeling and sensations relational to the subject. There's a sense of movement in the clouds, reinforced by the sloping hillside and the partially clouded moon, I think I was supposed to say, giving it an oblong shape. The yellow of the moon is echoed in two sparkly pigmented slopeside areas and is complemented by violets throughout. By both restraint and sensitivity, the artist has made this nocturne into a gem that seems to partake as much from dreams or memory as it does reality. Congratulations, lovely work of art.
Very nice, Georgette.
Yeah.
Okay, this is, I'm not sure on the pronunciation of the artist's name, Yael Myman, and it's entitled Walk On By. This painting exhibits exceptional compositional skills. Created in a low key where many of the lights are fairly low in value, the artist employs a low cat's eye vantage point and uses an orange-blue complementary structure. The risky cropping of the cat at the bottom left is well handled, and its somewhat dissolution of form, except for the black of its head, which attracts the viewer to the right. That's the one right at the very bottom of the left on the composition. The positions of the blue and orange bowl then move the eye into the pictorial space to the two other cats. The brightness of the orange bowl, the streaking of the yellow highlights, and the, I'm sorry, I can't read my own writing here, and the mysterious visual information at the top of the painting all serve to counterbalance the otherwise left-weighted qualities. Even the main star appears to be about to exit left. There's commendable confidence in the mark making and drawing skills in this painting, and the offset balancing of forms with open space is exemplary. I'd like to add that I've often studied the works of Edgar Degas in composition, and to me this is kind of using similar elements of cropping and of shallow but deep space, things at the edges of the composition. I found it very intriguing, and I think that orange bowl is very important in the composition. Yeah. So thank you very much. It's a lovely work of art.
That's great.
Yep. Yael is one of our distant, she lives in Israel.
Yeah, I've seen Yael's work before. Cats, lots of cats. And I
Lots
think
of
she may be the only person that has more cats than we do. But very lovely composition. Okay, moving on to pieces I just wanted to say something about, and believe me, that could be every piece in the show. But I had to, as a writer, I have to limit my time sometimes. And so I selected 3 works to talk about. And this one is entitled Inner Tube Ballerina by Terry Brooks. This is a beautifully harmonious painting, and that's what I really responded to, was the harmony of this painting. That it adeptly captures a sensation in the sensitive posturing of the figure. Insightful handling of the blue-orange complement underpins the composition. The artist uses blue purposely and sparingly, depicting both direct and reflected light on the figure. The highlight on the inner tube leads the viewer to her expressive hands. I love those hands, by the way, which in turn to her face, which is positioned at an opposing angle to her hands. It's the angles really of the hand and face that really attracted me, as well as the harmony in this painting. It's really quite a moment captured and a beautiful figure painting. Congratulations to this artist.
Yay, Terry.
Whoops. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice, Terry.
Yeah, I think it's this one, right?
Yeah,
Marshall Point in Bloom by Nancy Culver. In this pleasurable painting, I particularly like the contrast and interaction between the 3 distinct planes: foreground, middle distance, and background. The smooth transition of atmospheric perspective as the sky moves further away against the land mass is also admirable. A few white flowers, perhaps Queen Anne's lace, that was a guess on my part, behind the sprightly daylilies serve to ease the transition to the white and grayscale middle distance. The cool colors of the background perform well in varying distances against the lighthouse. So what I really responded to this painting was how close we are to those flowers, and how that's not easy to make that work against middle distance and distance. We're right up close in the flowers almost, and how the artist handled those 3 planes so well. And I think I might have left something out. I really like the way the bush on the left, or maybe it's a young tree, unites the greens of the distant hills and the greens of the foreground. It's a great work of art, and it really speaks of Maine to me as well. So thank you very much. It's quite lovely. Okay. This piece is Going Solo by Lisa Rigopoulos. Sometimes just a single object can rivet our attention. Balanced yet slightly off center, the flower's form and edges are spontaneously painted with a majority of side strokes. The flower appears luminous by contrast to the background, where the artist has explored a dynamic range of dark values. This serves to engage the viewer and greatly enhance the qualities of this fine pastel painting. One thing I would like that I didn't mention here is this slight lighter blue that's up top against the top edge of the picture. Could be sky. It's so much implied in there and suggested without being overstated, and the real statement is the flower. Single object paintings are not as easy as one would like them to be and would seem to be. And I think this is a fine example of a single object painting.
Excellent. The rest of the show, Bob, I will kind of go through and pause a few seconds on each if you want to say something.
Okay.
Just let me know. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, Terry,
Oops, I'm sorry. Yep.
Do you want me to say
Sure.
the name of the painter and the title of the?
Sure.
Yeah, you can hear me now. I'm not frozen anymore.
You can hear you now, Marika.
Yeah, so I can do that, but
Okay.
unless it's unless all the titles speak by themselves. So this is from Suzanne Dixon Albert, Sunken Shadows.
I just want to add the mark making in this is spectacular. It's just beautiful.
Wonderful.
And Jeanette Shaw Amtman, White Sands in Winter.
If I can just interject real quick, I love the white sloping of the sloping angle of that as opposed to the angles of the darker mountains behind them. I love it when artists use opposing angles for drama, and this artist did.
That's Tom Bailey, Wired.
An impressionist piece with beautiful color. Lovely.
Mary Barrett, November Garden.
I found this intriguing in its subject matter, in its disarray, so to speak, and to say that anything can become subject. We think of a garden as beautiful in the summer, but in November, that's what things look like. So I love the reality and the honesty in this painting.
Laura Beckering, Lady Slippers.
Just beautiful. The pink is really beautiful in this picture.
Marcia Brandwine, Blue Tin Roof.
I found this interesting, and I looked at this piece a number of times, and I really found it interesting, the composition of basically placing that the house or barn or whatever it is way off to the left side and balancing it with those trees. And I found the composition brave, basically, and it works.
Terry Brooks, Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah, what a difficult subject.
Yeah.
You know, sparkling sunlight on water. Yeah, and I think this is extraordinary. It just really feels like the sparkles when the sun's against your eyes, and it's just spectacular.
Polly Caster, Respiration.
Wow.
I just love the fun patterns in this painting. To be honest, I had a very difficult time deciding between this one and the one that was awarded an honorable mention. They're both spectacular.
Errol Corliss, Beauty is in the Iris.
Yeah, really beautiful handling of the softness, in the softness of the way the artist applied the pastel. The edges are so well handled, and it's a lovely composition.
Marijke Damwell, All Island Beach.
Yeah, I love the way you draw the eye to that point in the distance, and those trees are very well handled on the left side. It's a lovely piece, and the pinkish color coming in from the sky forms an important triangle. Have a very, very good triangles in this picture.
Christina Davis, 40-Mile Stop.
Beautiful mark making.
Beautiful.
Constance Dempsey, Reminiscence.
I love the challenge of painting glass and shiny objects, and this artist rose to that challenge.
Marvelous. Linda Dessin, Ocean Spray Delight.
It's really an abstract composition that worked so well with its realistic subject matter.
Linda Dessin, Purple Haze.
This is a beautiful tonal piece that speaks of dawn, or I'm assuming it's dawn. But just love the softness, the smudging of the pastel. You know, I can remember that one of my first classes I ever took in pastel, the teacher said, you know, don't ever put your hands on the pastel, don't smudge it. Now, I don't know if that's what this artist did, but it certainly looks like it's been worked over to form those edges that are so smooth and soft. And I just think it's exemplary. It's beautiful.
Cheryl DiCara, Happy Threesome.
Nice. I love flowers and I love garden pictures, and this is one of them.
Terlyn Dubois, Marble Cove.
Yeah, I thought the texture in this painting was exceptional. I don't know what paper the artist used. I'm guessing that it's pretty rough. But the way the artist handled the pastel to achieve those different textures of the water, of the incredible rocks, is just remarkable. I love pastels that are very smooth and soft and gentle, and I love pastels like this that really speak of texture. Very well handled.
Wolfgang Ertel, Rocky Mountain Reminiscence. Reminiscence.
Yeah. I really like the way the artist used the blue behind that dark tree on the left to form a focal point. And this painting is exemplary in the sense that you have a big scene, vast scene, somewhat vast in Colorado, I assume, or whatever. But there's no question in my mind where the artist wants you to look. And you lead the artist to that one place in many ways. It's really well composed. It's an excellent work of art.
Wolfgang Ertel, Tidal Pools.
Again, I love the abstraction of close-up scenes like this, looking down into a tidal pool. The work reads as a work of abstraction, and it reads as a work of realism.
Joel Feldman, First Snow on Shaker Hill Pond. Yeah.
It's just exquisite. It's a beautiful work of art. The contrast is wonderful in this painting, and the color usage is wonderful.
Joel Feldman, Taking a Stand.
Again, a great composition. I hope you don't mind me mentioning, talking about these, because I've looked at these paintings a lot, and you know, I admire so many things in each of these paintings that it's hard for me to not say something. I just love the sweep of the rocks and the snow on them coming up, emanating from the bottom left and ending with the stand of the pine tree. Very lovely.
Paula Fraser, Broken.
Yeah, I really like the idea of something that's not beautiful, so to speak. A broken tree is not necessarily something beautiful, but the artist made it a very interesting composition. And I admire that.
Claudette Gamache, Path from the Beach.
The tension between the branches, the linear work of the branches and the softness of what's behind them on the path is really spectacular in this painting.
Daphne Hobson, Hipster in Blue.
Yeah, I like the blue-orange, again, blue-orange complement in this painting, and the basically the artist the sitter looking right at you. That's pretty powerful in this painting.
Susan Hollis, Just Before Sunset.
Great space, again, almost an abstraction in its concept. Lovely painting.
Catherine Howe, On the Rocks.
I love the splatter of pastel dust that was probably sprinkled on and then pushed in against the rocks. very effective, and the linear work on the water is wonderful. Great piece.
Elaine Ranich, Bursting Banks.
Yeah, the color, you know, I think sometimes when we react to color, we can personalize it in some ways. And I don't know what this scene looked like, but I know what it felt like to the artist. And I think this artist did a great job of that.
Ariana Johnson, Roots.
Yeah, so intriguing.
Yeah.
You know, it's design work through and through, and taking a subject and turning it into a very exciting design.
Ariana Johnson, Just Before Sunrise.
Just lovely use of contrasting color at edges. Just absolutely beautiful. It really glows.
Diana Johnson, Late Afternoon Light.
You really see the artist's style from the last one and this one. Certain glow to the work is very, very lovely.
Sandra Kavanaugh, Coastal Sunrise.
I love the long format of this and the way the artist used lines, the edges of the shoreline, the distant line, and the stratus or whatever clouds that are linear, and then the lines coming in from the left top opposing the angle of the ones rising to the right is very effective in this composition. It's a great sense of space too.
Susan Cole Kelly, Beaver Stream.
Well, this speaks of spring to me. This color is quite beautiful. It's a very cheerful piece. I really like it.
Regis Langalia, Deer Rockies.
Deer Rockies, interesting. Yeah, Rockies are beautiful mountains, and they're very pointy like that, unlike ours here. And again, an orange and blue complement being used.
Susan Shockley at Evenfall.
It's so serene. The artist really captured a time of day that's so peaceful and lovely at the same time.
And Susan Shockley, We Will Always Have New York.
Yeah, really powerful image. It's a narrative here that is implied and very powerful in this painting, the narrative, especially with the child in strong colors against the softness of the other colors.
Melissa Lozano, Quand la nature se mêle.
I really like the drawing qualities of this portrait, the line work and the merging of some painting with a lot of drawing and leaving the background. I assume that's the paper color or toned paper color. I think the drawing is really powerful in this work of art.
Well, it's the same title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the drawing quality here, we see a little more painting being done mixed in with the drawing. And I like that about this artist's work, is that this artist leaves a lot of drawing in the finished result of the painting. And I think it's powerful. Colors are very nice in this too.
Yael Maimon, Sunday Breakfast.
Yeah, that's more cats than we have right there. Again, the blue-orange complement. There's that orange bowl too, very powerful. Look at the circle of the cats. It's just a great piece.
Yeah.
And in this piece, I just might want to add, besides that very orange bowl, there's a powerful blue to complement it on the right-hand upper side, very saturated.
Judith McKenna, Summer Song.
It's just beautiful. The water detail is exceptional. that wave is remarkable. The spray is well placed and the composition is beautiful.
Kelly Milukas, Harborfish.
I really enjoyed this work, and I kept coming back to it. I think its composition is very well done, but it's something about the application of the pastel. Again, some drawing applied over some painting, and some scumbling of the blue and the purple up in the left-hand corner, and some of the lighter color over maybe a red ground underneath. I just felt it was very painterly and sketchy at the same time, and really is an exciting work of art.
Kelly Milukas, Ice Pond.
Yeah, very, very minimalist in a way, and suggestive, this painting is.
Mary Beth Morrison, January Moon, set.
Love the long format in this painting. I just love it. Well appropriated, very well appropriated for the subject matter, but also it really talks about a stretch of beach. And those few grasses that intersect the sky and the water in the middle-ish part of the painting are really important to me. They bring those planes together and they don't distract. It would be so easy to distract with those, but they're very well done. Lovely piece.
Mary Beth Morrison, Radiant.
They are radiant against that dark blue. Again, I like the texture of this piece. The roughness of it is really appealing. It's very fresh.
Mariah Moser, Cloud Mountains.
The soft blending is very nice in this painting, and the reflections of the sunset or sun setting is very powerful.
Marianne Mullet, Psychedelic Blue.
We don't perhaps see enough wildlife art in pastel, although we're seeing more and more now in the last decade or so, I think. But this is a really beautiful heron or crane or whatever it is. And to see it against I'm assuming that that's reflections in the water or movement, or maybe a plant above the water. But I like the movement against the stillness in this painting. It's very well handled.
Marianne Mullet, The Simple Things.
I like that it's cropped at the top and it's not perfectly centered, this bowl of tomatoes. And that the floor or table, whatever it's on, is at a diagonal to it. So there's a lot of movement that's created in this round form, around this round form. And I think that's well done for a very simple subject.
Margaret Munson, Vermont Streaming.
Reminds me of Vermont, where I live. Really, really nicely placed off center of the stream against the rocks and the greenery and the textures of the mosses. Very, very well done.
Sarah Ostroff, After the Rain.
It's interesting how much purple and blue is in this composition, and how that adds to the composition, as opposed to, let's say they were painted in gray, a more neutral gray, the clouds. It would be a completely different painting. And I think the purple yellow complement adds a huge amount to this skyscape landscape.
Sarah Ostroff, Evergreen Walk.
Those birch trees, I assume they're birch trees on the left, the linear element of them and the linear element of the dark trees on the right reflecting in the water really adds a lot. There was a professor of art years ago who called line work in painting the bones of a painting. This painting has bones. This painting has a real good use of line in it, as well as, form, painted form. I think it goes hand in hand in this painting very well.
Timothy Parks, Fall Harvest.
Very powerful whenever one puts light and colorful things against darkness. It's a recipe that has been used for centuries, and especially in still life painting and some portrait painting. And this is very well done. That white gourd or whatever it is very strong against the red apples, but there's no question that the gourd takes precedence because light-dark contrast takes precedence over saturation. And this is a fine example of that.
Suzanne Payne, Purpose.
I love the softness of that background, how it just melds into the sky. And the transition to that is very well done in the grasses.
This was Purpose. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. And its title is?
This title is Purpose.
Oh, Purpose. Okay. Yeah, that orange blue in the sky is just striking those clouds. I think, maybe we've all seen those kind of clouds and that kind of luminosity that this artist has achieved very, very adeptly.
It's Ellen Pelletier, Turbulence.
It is indeed turbulent, and it really gives the emotion of to one who doesn't live by the sea, of how dangerous the sea can be if I was out on that sea. The artist really captures movement and drama and maybe even slight danger in this painting. Very well done.
Mary Louise Petrie, Turtlehead, Isleboro.
Purple yellow complement of the rocks and the yellow tree on the left, and the deeper yellow orange in the seaweed, I believe it is, by the shoreline. Those yellow purples really help this composition a great deal.
Carol Bernadette Quirk, Wicked Tulips.
I'm a big tulip fan, having been to Holland. And this just reminds me of the joy that one sees in a garden of tulips. And, they come out at all angles at you, and the artist captured that quite nicely.
Carol Gandolfo Rogers, Fall Shimmer.
Love the color, love the shimmer in this painting. Great color usage, especially up top. I like the way the artist reserved the use of color on the land and picked it up in those trees and on the upper part of the composition, and put some very succinct blues of the sky poking through against that, especially that orange on the right side. Very interesting composition.
Donna Roy, Natural Light.
I just thought this was really fun piece because, there we are painting outside, plein air painters, and, with the hood, it's cold or whatever, or windy. And it really spoke of, how it is to plein air paint and that vastness of beauty in front of this artist, and the artist working diligently to create that. I really enjoyed this painting.
Judith Schutzman, Ascend.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very powerful. The colors are very strong. The saturation is strong. The contrast of value is very strong. I'm really glad that barn on the little barn up top is there. And I think it's not easy to capture an uphill scene, and it's not easy to capture a downhill scene either. Those two are difficult perspectives to really get down and make the viewer understand that you're down below and looking up. And this artist did that with perspective and the composition. Very, very well handled.
Rebecca Yates Sharp, Resurrection.
I like the way the artist used the paper in this painting and muted the greens and let the subtle violet of that flower, especially the one on the right, show through. Again, a lot of drawing and a lot of smudging, I think, I'm not sure, but just, interesting use of pastel. And I really like the volume of the plant against the background. More plant, less background, but they interact very, very well.
Short, Grazers.
Love it. I just love sheep. I love the way they're coming at you and they're grazing. And that background plane is very well handled with the trees and the hillside behind the house or barn and the rock wall. Very, very nicely done up top.
Nancy Sylvia, Scudic Sunset.
I've been to Scudic and this really takes me back there. I love the softness too. Rocks are hard things, but they've also been worn by the ocean. And there's a certain softness that this painting has that really appeals to me.
Leanne Skalkos, Swabegger's Landing.
Love that water. Just love it. The reflection on that water appears wet and glossy. And I like the dotting, if you will, of the flowers in the foreground. There's a lot of different textures in this painting, but the one that wins me over big time is that reflective quality of the water.
Jean Smith Cripps, Bailey Island.
It's a beautiful tonalist work with very subtle color, but the color is very important in this painting. And the lines are very important in this painting. And to achieve a painting like this, one has to balance so much and not let one element talk too loud, so to speak. And this painting whispers quite nicely all over.
Kay Sullivan, good morning.
This painting doesn't whisper. This painting is a wonderful wake-up call, so to speak. It's very powerful. I love the edges of the, I think it's Lacarte paper, I'm not sure. But I love the way the artist incorporates the edges in the design, and it infiltrates here and there into the composition. And that strong light behind there says, where we are to look. There's no question about it. Well composed, well painted. Love the square composition.
Kay Sullivan, Heavy Summer Rain.
What an interesting piece this is. In some ways it has the reminiscent quality of a Monet water lily painting. It's not water lilies, it's rain on water. But the swirling motion is just so playful and lively and abstract at the same time. And again, the edges of the Lacarte paper showing through are very important on the perimeter of the painting.
Kathleen Sutherland, Madi Canal, Egypt.
Never have been there, but I like the way that pastel is used, especially on the top sections on right and left. The side stroking, the blurring of the pastel is quite effective.
Loretta Turner, Coastal Islands of Maine.
I really like this piece a lot. I like the stylization of things, and I like the white outlining. It kind of vaguely reminds me of white line printmaking from Cape Cod that was invented on Cape Cod, Provincetown. It kind of is a very intriguing quality, having those white lines around clouds and trees and hillsides. And I really like the quality of this painting. Nicely matted too with the gray inner matte.
Ruth Van Dyne, Quick Storm Coming.
Really like that red underneath the middle part of the painting and the blue underneath the dark upper sky. The underpainting on this painting is essential to its look. It's not only essential, it really enhances, is the word I should use, the overpainting. It's just luminous underneath.
Priscilla Whitford, Valley of Flowers.
Love the curvature of the brook or river. Takes you meandering back into the distance. And that pine tree or whatever kind of tree it is on the left side is really important. The dark one, the one that has a dark trunk, it anchors the composition.
Alan Williams, Creekside.
Again, texture, the smooth upper part, the textured quality of the water and of the plants and shoreline, and just really like the painting. I like the smooth darkness up top especially.
Jerry L. Young, December Sunrise.
Again, a toneless piece that is also quite colorful, and still has the mood of tonalism to it.
Jerry L. Young, Isle Forest Sunset.
Yeah, just beautiful. The artist has a real proclivity to capturing that certain time of day and making it look luminous. Very, very beautifully handled with a minimal amount of detail, a maximum effect.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's
Gosh,
it.
I'd love to see all of them again. No, it's
Well, you can.
yes, I know. That's the nice
Yeah.
thing about an online show is you can visit.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Bob, can we ask you a couple of questions? If
Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah.
I've got a couple, but
Okay, great.
let me start with one. Maybe it'll inspire someone else. But how about titling? Does that have any impact in your judging process?
Well, the reason I mentioned before that I didn't purposely put titles on and sizes on because I wanted to experience the painting. And if the painting didn't speak to me, I don't care what the title is. The title could clarify something. But to me as a judge, and I can't speak for other judges or jurors, the title is, I don't have a good analogy for it, but I mean, it sort of says, okay, that's what the artist was thinking about or something. But if the painting doesn't speak to me, I don't care how wonderful that title is, it's not gonna win my praise, so to speak. Even if the work was untitled, number 7, somebody may not like that title. Abstractionists used it a lot. But it doesn't matter to me. If the painting speaks in visual terms, that's what really matters. So while a title enhances a piece a little bit, it makes you think what the viewer is. Let me just add one thing. I was at an abstract exhibition once last year, I think it was. No, it wasn't last year. It was before pre-pandemic. And the artist was speaking about his abstract work, and it was quite beautiful work. It was incredible. But then he said, and the title of it is this, and that's because I was here in this place and I saw that. And a person raised their hand who was a collector and said, you just told me too much about your work of art. It's not abstract anymore. It's not powerful anymore. So there's a case where
Huh.
too much explanation is not necessary. So sorry about that long answer, but that's
Oh, that was good.
my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Did you have a second question?
I did. I noticed in many of the paintings, you remarked on the colors, blue and orange really got your attention, and yellow and purple. And those are very, those are, known complements or opposites. And I'm thinking you can really use those kinds of color combat sort of to develop incredible compositions, I guess. But they really got your attention as a judge.
They did. I was surprised at how many orange purple complements there were in this exhibition. There are in this exhibition. That's not a common, well, I mean, sunsets, yeah. But that use of purple, I think I may have mentioned it on one of somebody's clouds. Instead of them being gray clouds, they're purple clouds. That idea of using complements and exploring that range is one of our greatest tools in color usage. And this exhibition is a fine example of artists using color in expressive ways. And certainly those complements catch my attention, and I'm quite sure they would attract the attention of other jurors as well. It just shows that the artist is working with color with a purpose. And I think that's important because we can't find that ideal scene. We can't find that perfectly colored landscape very often. We make a painting, we create a painting, we build a painting out of ideas from a landscape or from a still life or from a portrait. So it's that idea that the artist is creating something, building it from pieces, and what the artist knows of color and form and line that makes it exciting for me as a juror when I see that readily in a painting.
Thank you.
Sure. If there's any other questions, I'm happy to respond. Sorry about the bright light behind me there. I should.
Well, I really appreciated your comments. Oh, Sarah has one. Go ahead, Sarah.
I do. I did notice that on some of the paintings, there was a name, a signature. And so how does a juror deal with that when you don't want to see the names of the creators?
One of the best things about online judging is that everything's so small, especially a name. It's not like seeing a painting that's 24 by 30 in front of you with a signature on the bottom. So in a sense, online jurying takes some of that tension out, I might say. But I think, a juror has to respond to a painting, not to who painted the painting. So, I mean, some people have very recognizable styles, especially when you're dealing with national jurying. You kind of know that is a so-and-so's painting, but it doesn't mean that just because it's let's say it's an important pastelist, it doesn't mean that that's his or her best pastel either. And what really matters is how does it stand up against the ones that are around it, the rest of the show. So to me, a name, if I saw a name on a piece, it just is a name. It's just part of the design of the painting to me. It's not, oh gosh, there's so-and-so's painting. I have to give it an award. That would be an awful thing to do for a judge. And I hope that, no one does that. But it's not easy. There is always the tension of when one sees a painting by a very prominent pastelist, to just pass it over. I've done it many times. And you don't, let's put it this way, one doesn't necessarily win friends being a judge, but hopefully one wins respect.
Yeah.
Because they stand by their principles of what good design is and what a good painting is, and how a painting affects you. You know, another judge would have picked some different, maybe all different paintings for this show. I don't know. But a good painting is a good painting, and it has a solid foundation in design, in the elements of design. And that's what I respond to. That's the criteria that I use anyway. Other judges that I've worked with and jurors, sometimes it's much more intuitive and emotional, and that's perfectly fine too. So, so bottom line is names shouldn't matter, and to me they don't matter. But it's nice to find out who did the painting later. You know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So when I was introducing you, did the video stop? Because I also lost the connection.
Introducing me?
Yeah, yeah. In general, I think.
Yeah, I didn't see that part, but that's, you know, that's fine. It's online, so people can look at that, and I think it is, right? It's on with the show.
Should be recorded. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the beginning when I did my little talk. I think I lost the internet connection. So.
I think it came across okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good.
We didn't lose you. No.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, but I'm very happy that you could do this, all Robert. And
oh, it's my pleasure, really. Thank you for inviting me. It's really fun to be part of a Zoom opening.
Okay, thank you.
And again, my appreciation to those who organized and worked very hard, I'm sure, and long hours getting the show together. And my special thanks to everyone who entered the show, because I think, you know, visual art is called visual for a reason. It should be seen. And it takes courage sometimes. You're not sure how good something is, or, you know, how people will react to it. But I think we have to show our work because it's intended for that. And it brings a lot of joy to people to see works of art. I mean, every one of those paintings, and even ones that I did not accept because I had to choose a certain number, brought a lot of, you know, pleasure to me to see. And I think that's a reaction that's common to people, not just pleasure, but interest too. So I thank everybody in the Pastel Society of Maine who made this show possible.
Thank you,
Bob. Thank you for your generous comments. It was really an honor to have you comment on every piece. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Call of duty, but thank you.
No, my pleasure. In fact, I could have gone on, but you know. So thank.
In interest of letting people go to enjoy the rest of their evening, thank you very much for attending, all those who were here, and for your support of PSME. We do have several more activities this year. Right now we have a signature show that is open for submissions, and that is till the end of the month. We encourage our signature members to send work into there. We have the international 21st PSME International Juried Show is just opened up for submissions. That will take place in September. These will be virtual shows. Thereafter, we pray and hope that we will be actual shows thereafter. So stay tuned and watch the website for our next activities. Thank you, Mareka. Thank you, Terry Lynn, and all who were here. Thank you, Bob. And happy spring.
Happy spring.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.